Oh my god, we're right back in it. We took like no break between those episodes for us. Except I went to the fridge and got a filthy mayor out of it. This mayor,
Why do you keep the mayor in there?
This mayor's filthy. Because how else am I supposed to have easy access to my elected representatives, huh? Huh? If not in my refrigerator, then whose? I made my way back toward the kitchen to check in with Moira before anything else. I could tell her the truth. I was still looking for Eustace and would be unable to help with supper. Despite everything, I was still determined to keep up appearances. We're gonna find Moira dead?
Oh!
Good, Gifu.
That's a great name.
That is great. What does that refer to again?
I believe that's just Gift of God.
Gift of God, right? That's what I thought, but...
It's Old English.
I entered the kitchen and was immediately overwhelmed with smoke. Moira! I couldn't speak. The air was thick and made me cough as soon as I opened my mouth.
Oh, Hedwig, did you find you...
Moira also began to cough. I held the door open to allow the gray wisps to dissipate outside. I stood in a daze for a moment, overwhelmed by the memory of the beast's sulfuric stench that night on top of the wall. Moira finally collected herself. She was still smiling, though. Her eyes were watery.
Did you find Eustace? I managed on my own, but I could still use some expertise.
I could not find her. I'm still looking for her, actually. I just wanted to check on you here so you weren't waiting.
Not to worry. I'll manage by myself.
To asphyxiate yourself?
I just burned one bit of meat, but I think I can cut the worst of it off. The next one will be easy. Learn by doing, that's what I always say.
I nodded warily and watched as she plopped another cut of meat into the frying pan atop the stove. More smoke began to billow up as the meat sizzled violently.
Could you leave the door ajar for me on your way out?
I nodded and propped the door open. Are you just trying to create another explanation for what that smoke might have been after you heard us asking about it? Moira. Also, are you good? Moira never struck me as someone to overestimate her own abilities, so I don't get why she's playing the fool here. I don't know, it seems strange. The kitchen had a chimney, but Moira was managing to produce far too much smoke for it to handle. I wandered back toward the cloister, unsure of who to check in with next, or where I might start searching to find her myself. Her dorm room, the garden, the cellars, all seemed about as likely as each other. I entered the hallway surrounding the cloister, barely paying attention to where I was going.
Oi!
A sudden voice made me jump.
Hey, watch where you're going.
Be nice, Violet. She was off in her own little world. I'm a bit hard to miss, though, eh?
I'm so sorry. I was lost in thought.
That's true, but you don't see us nearly barging into people now, do you?
Well, we almost did barge into her, didn't we?
She nearly walked into us.
But it takes two to bump into each other, doesn't
I
it?
like how Bridget has to be the one to keep Violet honest. I could feel my patience waning already. In an attempt to be helpful, I changed the subject. You were lost in thought as well? Might I be of assistance?
We're looking for Sister Catherine. With a K.
Wait, no, don't!
Any idea where
Not
she
in front
is?
of these two! Flora! I'm afraid not. Well, actually, I'm looking for someone as well. Have you seen Sister Eustace?
Nope.
Sorry.
It's no trouble at all. No need to apologize. I were as pleasant a smile as I could, but none of them returned it. We walked past each other to return to our separate searches. I took a few steps forward, but something caught my eye. The cloister lawn had been ravaged terribly. Deep divots and tracks lining the previously green grass. Did they take Flora out there and now it's all muddy because in the rain it's going to leave big barrow tracks?
I don't know.
Or was that when Hedwig had done that? I turned around, suddenly quite irritated. Hey! Did you push the wheelbarrow over the cloister? They looked at each other briefly.
No, sister.
You think this little thing could have done all that? It was all those blokes moving stones.
You mean the builders?
No, the plant agent army.
What?
The Plantagenet was a dynasty, so...
No, the Plantagenet army. Of course we mean the builders.
Violet! Simmer down. This is day 2 and you really gotta, like... Very well. I apologize.
She was only looking out for the upkeep of the Abbey, Violet.
Fair enough. No reason to treat us like criminals, though.
I did apologize.
She did?
She did.
Oh. Right. Sorry about that, Miss Hedwig.
Apology accepted. Hope you could find who you're looking for.
Aye, you as well.
The Plantagenet, by the way, aren't just any dynasty. They're the one that is in charge of England right now in this time period of this game and that is about to lose power.
Oh, cool. Good to know. Flora continued staring at me as Violet turned her wheelbarrow around. I turned back the way I had been walking and continued my laps. Oh, did you see that eyeball as it faded out there?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, I can't bring it back. Someone tell me that I didn't make that up. It was in the top of the archway there. After a few laps, I wandered toward the garden, hoping Eustace might just materialize in front of me. Also, these two little splotches of dirt look like eye sockets as well. Maybe this is just entirely...
Pareidolia?
Yeah, pareidolia. Now that we had that one scene with it, I'm seeing them everywhere. People had a habit of bumping into me at the right time, after all. Unfortunately, I would have no such luck today. It was still raining and there was nobody in the garden. I sighed. There was no use getting drenched unless I had to. I turned back toward the cloister. As I paced up the gravel path, a puddle caught my eye. Aw. Reflected Hetty. Oh. An idea struck me. I had a good idea of where she might be. Oh, is she off fishing?
Fishing in the rain?
Fishing in the rain. The rain kept coming. I pounded on the door to the Superior's office once again, hoping I wouldn't bother her. I had a strong suspicion Eustace was off fishing, but there was no way I was going to walk there in this weather without one of those thick cloaks the others had begun to wear. Raindrops felt good against my skin, but my soggy clothes did not.
What is it? Oh, Sister Hedwig. Sister Angela was just here. She said you were busy. Did you need something?
Nothing important, but... well, the rain has been getting awfully heavy lately. I was hoping I could be spared one of the traveling cloaks the others are wearing.
You weren't provided a heavy cloak. Goodness, how embarrassing. One moment. I should have a spare.
The bishop was still there, leaning against the Superior's desk. He smiled warmly at me. That's all he tends to do. Didn't work, however. I felt annoyed. What did he do all day exactly?
Smile warmly at people.
Smile warmly at people.
And make apologetic noises.
Yep. I immediately felt ashamed for being so judgmental, however, and quickly returned his smile.
Let us see. I usually keep one or two at the bottom of the wardrobe, just in case someone damages or loses theirs.
She opened a large cabinet and set it against the wall.
Perhaps I spoke too soon.
Oh dear.
How odd. I could have sworn I had one.
Missing cloak.
You are certain there isn't one in your new room? It should have been folded up underneath the bed.
I am quite sure.
How queer.
What?
I gave Darcy very specific instructions on preparing your room. Well, if you need one right this moment, I suppose you might borrow mine.
She retrieved the single cloak that was hanging in the wardrobe and handed it to me. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly.
Nonsense. I don't plan on stepping out into that nasty weather for very long if I can help it. Just take good care of it.
Of course. Thank you, Your Reverence. My eyes darted toward the bishop.
You have a deep well of kindness, Mabel.
I do what I can.
I slipped the heavy fabric over my shoulders and fastened the clasp on my neck. Clasp. The sensation was immediately overwhelming. Snug, warm, perhaps even a little stifling for the indoor air.
Is there anything else? Do you have anything new to report about your investigation?
Oh, actually, there is one thing. Did you wind up giving Angela a key for the sacristy? It's my next port of call.
No. Eustace has just the one.
Really? Goodness me, that seems rather irresponsible.
She insisted there should be only a single key.
She is definitely locked in the sacristy. Yeah, no, she's definitely in the sacristy, which is locked with the key inside of it. Right? Right?
Our collection is too valuable to leave multiple keys lying around, or so she says.
I was reminded of Flora's story about sneaking into the Superior's office. I felt myself agreeing with Eustace, on principle, at least. Not to worry then, I shall simply ask her for help. That had been my plan in the first place. I was grateful for the new tidbit of information, however. Beginning to feel more and more confident in my suspicions. I do not have anything to report in that case. May just have something conclusive soon, however. I was nursing a desire for approval, and part of me wanted to spill everything to the Superior right away. If I was wrong about Eustace's books, I'd look utterly mad, no matter how suspect the rest of her behavior was. Not to mention the fact that I might need to explain what had happened to me and Angela in the library, which might destroy whatever shred of credibility I was holding on to.
Why so mercurial?
Oh, no reason. I just don't want to promise anything too grand before I can deliver.
Suit yourself. Have a good evening, Hedwig.
I nodded my head and took my leave. I started toward the path to Eustace's secluded fishing spot, getting used to moving in the Superior's cloak. When I stepped into the rain, I noticed the difference immediately. The thick fabric absorbed the beating raindrops effortlessly. It was a very strange sensation. As I made my way down the path toward the outer wall, however, it became more uncomfortable than I had been sans cloak. My clothes had been soaked through already today, and traveling cloak trapped the soggy, loose fabric in a way that felt awful as I moved. When I made it to the stone passageway, I paused for a moment to adjust my clothes. Did my best to peel the wet fabric off my skin and fluff it a little, hoping it would sit a little more comfortably under the cloak with a little fiddling. Alas, 'twas easier said than done. I leaned against the wall for balance while rearranging my robe. A glint of metal caught my eye. Why was the sword here? I bent down to retrieve it.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we did just have a whole bunch of people roll up. It's possible one of them traveled with a sword.
Yeah, is there any reason we should think this is the sword rather than a sword?
It doesn't have the marking on it.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is the sword, right? Because this sword had that verse carved into it, right?
Yes, but I forget which verse.
It's been a while since chapter 1. I'm sure someone will remind us.
I bent down to retrieve it. Once again, I marveled at how natural it felt in my hands.
Oh, it does have it.
Oh, it did.
Turned over the blade. I turned the blade over to inspect it. Sure enough, there was the Hebrew engraving.
Well,
This
what
is the
hell
sword.
do I know? This is the sword. I should just stop talking.
Why had it been deposited so unceremoniously out here? Taking good care of the sword was Eustace's job, as she had complained about so many times before. More evidence of her strange behavior, I thought. I decided to carry it with me. It was her responsibility in the first place. Plus, I would feel a degree of satisfaction asking her why she had left it to rust in the rain after Catherine was wake. I would demand the sacristy key. She would have no choice but to give me the key. The sword must be returned to that room for safekeeping. Eustace would be in a real bind, wouldn't she? She would have to give me the key or let me into the room. I held the sword. The alternative was showing the Superior the neglected blade.
Yeah, that's what someone will think when you're threatening them and holding a sword, Hedwig.
See how wet it is? What if it had been damaged by the elements, rusted? I'm feeling those scenarios. What if Eustace had resisted me? A surge of anxious energy passed through me as I navigated off the path, onto the trail to Eustace's fishing spot. She might panic when I asked her for the key, I thought. Or if she truly had something to hide, she might attack me. Well, in that case, I would defend myself bravely.
Oh, nothing like winning the fights in your head, right?
I hacked a few branches along the path to practice my swing. When I finally reached the log I had to clamber over twice before, I gave it a good slicing down the middle. Nothing could slow me down now. Hacked the rotten log in twain with a few more hits, and the path opened up to me.
Dang,
Hedwig,
okay.
Hedwig, calm.
Hedwig, I
jogged ahead. I was beginning to feel excited. So close to finding Eustace. So close to freedom. So consumed by the idea of catching Eustace in her lies that I ceased worrying about the beast that had attacked me and Flora. Or the magic circle, or the strange events in the library. Those things followed this thing. The head counted far more than the limbs. If Eustace was forced to tell me the truth about what she was up to, if she was made to admit that she had something to do with Catherine's death, everything else might follow. I practically pranced the rest of the way to the riverbank. Alas, my giddiness was all for nothing. There was nobody else here. I had been wrong. I surveyed my surroundings. In retrospect, it would have been obvious. Fishing in this weather? How stupid was I? I let out a howl of frustration so loud I surprised myself. Even with the tree cover, sitting in the damp grass for hours on end would have been miserable. I'd imagine Eustace slinking out into the woods or contemplate her nefarious schemes, huddled in the rain, beating fish against her bucket to calm herself. It had made perfect sense in my mind. Like so many things I've been jumping to recently. But here I was, a lone fool drenched to the bone. I'd had enough. I was humiliated and uncomfortable. I mean, at a minimum, discovering the sword is important, right?
Yeah.
It's not for naught.
I felt hot and clammy all over. I'd had enough of my sodden clothes.
Hedwig,
Hedwig!
Hedwig.
Hedwig!
In a fury, I flung the sword to the ground and began to tear my garments off. I let the cloak
Hedwig.
fall to the ground and yanked my robes over my head, balling them into a squishy heap on the ground. Enough! It was colder this way, but at the very least I was free from the awful sensation of soaked fabric steaming underneath a thick cloak. I held my arms aloft, inviting the raindrops to cool me down. Slowly, but surely, the oppressive, sticky sensation my damp clothes had imbued me with was replaced with a cold but crisp sense of comfort.
Are you frustrated? Everyone heard that bellow, I'm sure.
Leave me alone.
We are alone. For now, anyway. Someone will come looking eventually. We should enjoy ourselves while we can.
Nobody knows where I am.
Eustace might guess.
Then let her come. I was looking for her anyway.
And let her find you like this?
Be quiet! She chuckled and then picked up the sword and examined it idly. What are you doing?
I'm just looking.
Looking at what?
Nothing. Goodness, you are paranoid.
I glowered and sat down in the tall grass. I just need some time to collect myself.
By all means.
I appreciate that the artist has clearly seen a woman's tummy before drawing, unlike many artists who draw nude women.
Right? Like, that's some tum right there.
That is a normal human. Congratulations.
Congratulations on.
I lay down and shut my eyes, exhaling deeply. The rain pelted my body, massaging me, relaxing me. What had I come looking for again? I opened my eyes.
Hello?
What are you doing? You're just giving me more angles to have to goat head.
The same thing you are.
Nonsense. You tricked me. You wanted to get me out here alone. Pulled me here with your infernal line.
She did not respond, but leaned down to kiss my forehead.
Stop that.
Stop what?
She picked up the sword again.
What does that say, do you think?
I can't read Hebrew.
That seems like something of an oversight for someone whose entire job is to copy and read the Bible.
To be fair, it wouldn't have been in Hebrew.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Would have been the Latin Vulgate.
Isn't that a shame? That seems like it'd be useful in your line of work.
You're right. I wouldn't even be able to read the Septuagint?
I would assume Septuagint. I've never said the word out loud, but
I wouldn't even be able to read the Septuagint.
How many layers separate you from the gospel truth, I wonder?
if you're wondering what the Septuagint is, that would be the Greek Bible.
Got
So
it.
she is here saying she doesn't even know Greek well enough to read the Greek that the Latin Vulgate would have been translated from.
Right.
So
And then,
she's a couple layers of translation away, like Hebrew through Greek into Latin.
and that's exactly what other Hedwig is rubbing in her face, right?
Yep.
I don't like to think about that.
Well, that's quite all right. I think about it for you. I think about a lot of things for you.
Oh? Is that why you pull me around with that invisible thread of yours?
Thread? What thread? I don't lead you anywhere. Not on purpose, at least. I just wander freely. If you feel compelled to follow me, then that's on you, I'm afraid.
I do not understand.
There's a lot competing for attention in your spirit. What happened to Catherine? What might happen to you? Will you see heaven? Why did you feel all funny when Catherine pulled you close?
Stop it.
Why do you feel funny when you look at Adela? Or Moira? Or Margaret?
Stop it.
Or Eustace? And why, oh why, do you feel it the most when you look at Angela?
You're wrong, you know.
Don't deny it.
You're forgetting one.
Am I? Oh, that's right. You feel it the strongest when you think about Catherine with a C.
Yes.
You could never touch her, though. And you never will. So what would you call it? That feeling?
I don't know. Gnawing, I suppose. Loss?
Chad, is this loss?
Hey, me. Is this loss?
Replace the goat head with loss.
I can't. Stop making me do things. Emptiness.
Yes.
She turned the sword over in her hands, examining the handle. This was Catherine's sword, was it not?
Someone said that in the Misericorde.
The night Eustace pretended to be the ghost.
Why?
Catherine's sword.
She ran her fingers over the pommel, deep in thought.
We have some time to ourselves, don't we? Time.
Time enough, I'm sure.
She traced her fingers down the handle. Wait, why am I doing that part?
She traced her fingers down the handle, all the way past the crossguard.
Is Hedwig about to become a sword enthusiast?
Is Hedwig about to do what that one character from 100 Line did? Hedwig, no. There's so many safety reasons you shouldn't. I'm carrying another thought for you.
Oh?
Indeed.
She guided my hands to the base of the blade. Ow!
Hold the guard, you stupid woman. Just relax. I'll take care of things. Hedwig!
Freaky sword activities.
Hedwig! Not the holy Jumonji blade!
Oh, Hedwig.
If you had told me in Volume 1 that Hedwig was going to fuck a sword at one point, I would have been like, that sounds reasonable, but why do you say it with a smirk? It was beginning to get dark when I finally rose to my feet again. The rain had dissipated. I was shaky and unsure of my footing, but undeniably calm. Yeah, that tends to happen after. My hands stung in the rain. Looked down at my palms and grimaced. I told you to be careful. She was washing the sword in the stream.
Water's not good for metal, is it?
Blood is worse, I should think. Especially on the leather.
I blanched and turned away. I picked up my clothes, meaning to get dressed. They were unusable, however. I sighed and retrieved the superior's traveling cloak. This, at the very least, was still usable. I fastened it around my neck and pulled it close around my naked body, just as Angela had worn hers before.
You did that on purpose.
To what are you referring?
Let your clothes get soaked, of course. Oh no. Now I have to walk all the way back wearing naught but a cloak.
That is not true.
Yes, it is. You want to know how I know? Because I thought it for you.
Enough. I really shouldn't have personified all my darkest desires. She handed me the washed sword with an impish grin. The trek home was exhilarating, as she insinuated, of course. It was cold, wet, shivering, but I was happy. Happier than I had been relaxing on the riverbank, even.
And why is that, do you think?
I don't know. Isn't that your job to think about?
It's a puzzle, even for me. You could lay with anyone you like here, surely. But you don't want that, do you?
I do. I do sometimes. But I know it's wrong.
Is it any more wrong than this?
It's different. It's a loophole, and therefore it's okay. I have been repressed, and I found a loophole, and that means I can exploit it no matter what. No matter how much it goes against maybe the intent of what the original thing was.
True fact. There's no verse in the Bible that says you can't bang a sword.
That's true.
I imagine when you get up to the pearly gates, St. Peter just gives you a quizzical stare and was like, I didn't think I had to specify that.
I mean, I guess you're in on a technicality, but I guess we'll have to, update that in the next edition. God.
It's different.
You don't want to ask. You're just abdicating responsibility. Giving is wrong, but being taken from, well... Now that's not on you, is it?
I just like how the air feels against my skin.
I'm sure you do. So do I, naturally, but it must be something more than that, surely.
Must it? And is it so wrong? Surely there are far worse vices.
I'm inclined to agree, but is it my blessing you need? Do you know what I think? I think it's even more than putting the burden on your onlookers. I think you want to be worshipped.
Enough! Let me enjoy this walk in peace.
Suit yourself.
I walked the rest of the way home in silence, the sword in one hand and my clothes in the other. I let the cloak flap open, inviting the cold air to dry my skin somewhat. It was getting dark, but I could see the glint of torches ahead. As I approached the outer wall of the abbey, my thoughts returned.
What if all those men saw you? What do you think might happen?
I suppose they might see me.
And then what? I know you've often imagined yourself under the acacia tree. I know you dream of Absalom. Okay, I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need to use a lifeline on those ones.
So,
what's up?
this is referring to 2 Samuel 13,
Okay.
in which Tamar is raped by Amnon,
Okay.
who is the oldest son of King David.
I see.
and he gets assassinated by his paternal half-brother, Absalom, to avenge that rape.
I see. So, when other Hedwig says, I know you dream of Absalom, that means Hedwig is dreaming of being in a vulnerable position and then having some strong man come and save her from it.
Perhaps. That would seem to match. I don't know what acacia trees have got to do with it.
I think
though.
the acacia those are just the trees that were around in that area. And they were used on the Ark of the Covenant. They were all...
Pretty good tree, I suppose.
Yeah, pretty okay tree. But so it goes. Well, I think we've spent enough time reading about that.
Yep. And it appears to be the reason that David ran out of sons and so on, and succession to the throne of Israel became an issue,
That'll happen.
and so on and so forth.
But we're missing other Hedwig make a really, really funny innuendo.
Yeah?
Maybe they'd erect a tent just for you. She really said they're pitching tents, huh? I meant to argue, but I could not. I was distracted by a dark shadow looming above the abbey. Is that another eyeball? That's an eyeball, right?
I don't know. It just
See the
looks like a
iris
thing.
and then the
Could be.
pupil. Yeah. At first I thought it had been a rain cloud, but as I drew closer I caught a familiar scent on the breeze. Smoke. I
Did
broke it
Moira
to a sprint
actually
without
burn
thinking.
down the fucking kitchen?
It was difficult to run with both arms occupied. I looked ridiculous, I am sure. The traveling cloak billowed out behind me as I sprinted. I let out a growl of frustration as I passed into the walls of the abbey. This would not do. Even in emergency, moving around naked as anything was too much, even for my addled mind. My clothes were still unusably wet. There was no other choice. I tossed the sword back into the grass I had found it in, and covered it hastily with a pile of laundry. All right, Hetty. All right.
The sword's gonna be gone when she gets back, absolutely.
Now I could pull the traveling cloak around myself at the very least. Come back for the evidence. Everyone would be distracted by the fire anyway. Made my way to the source of the smoke, following my nose. I felt terrible. Leaving Moira to her own devices had been selfish of me. I had no doubt in my mind that she had become overwhelmed by the intricacies of the work only Darcy can do. As I passed through the cloister, I realized the fire was not in the kitchen. It was coming from upstairs. Several men were rushing up the stairs carrying buckets. I pulled my cloak a little tighter around myself as they passed by me. A horrid realization was building inside of me. As I crested the final steps, my fears were confirmed.
Hedwig, oh, Hedwig, I'm so glad you're well.
What happened?
There's a fire in the library. I only just found out. I thought I was just smelling the stove until I heard men shouting and running.
Another one of these men pushed past us as she said this.
They've almost got it under control, I believe.
The other sisters, the bishop and the superior, were all scattered about the second-floor hallway. Most were leaning against the stone railing, looking concerned. Margaret and Catherine with a K were pacing about, discussing something in grave tones. Charity, Marta, Adela, Flora and the newcomers were speaking with Angela, who looked apoplectic. Darcy and Eustace were nowhere to be seen. Did Darcy ever return?
No, she must be spending the night on the farm.
Thank goodness for her. Well, what about Eustace? Moira cast her eyes downward.
I'm not sure.
Oh no! I ran into the library desperate to see what had happened. I could hear Moira and the superior shouting at me to stop, but I ignored them. Half a dozen of the men were charging out of the room with empty buckets.
Sister, get to safety.
I'm looking for my friend! Well, not a friend as such. But I didn't have the time or the wherewithal to explain the intricacies of my relationship with Eustace to a stranger.
It's a complete and total mess in there, good sister.
Stop dawdling! Buckets! The muscular man looked at me pleadingly before following the others out to refill their buckets. I coughed and forged ahead. A cloud of smoke was billowing out of the sacristy, as I had dreaded.
Fuck.
It was hard to see. It was harder to breathe. Struggled to keep my eyes open as I searched for signs of life or worse. Bits of burned paper were fluttering about in the air. The worst of the flames had been contained, it seemed, but there were menacing piles of ember everywhere. Gnarled black debris was scattered throughout the room. The amount of refuse was unbelievable.
Everything in here had been utterly destroyed. I coughed and hacked and wheezed as I scoured the area for any hint of Eustace. A pair of hands stopped me from falling face first into a smoldering pile of ash. The same man as before had gripped my shoulder to steady me. Felt strange. I yanked myself free as forcefully as I could and wheeled around on him.
Please, get yourself to safety, good sister. We'll take care of the rest.
I couldn't argue. I staggered out of the room and back out into the landing. I don't know. Crispin seems all right. His builders are professional. I coughed again and several people rushed forward to help me.
Careful. Smoke is terrible for you.
You're one to talk, Moira.
Steady, steady.
I began to sob. There's nothing left.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I'm just glad that everyone is safe. Oh, I was so worried. But everyone isn't safe. I had so many thoughts running through my head. With Eustace gone, any trails I had left to follow would go cold. I was able to enter the sacristy, but whatever had been hidden there was long gone. Worse still, there was a sinister part of me that was relieved to be rid of her. How wicked a thought, but nonetheless it was an honest feeling. Without her breathing down my neck and with no way to pursue the mystery any further, perhaps I could live normally. Hedwig?
What do you mean everyone's not safe?
Have you not realized? Where's Eustace? Margaret grinned in a confused, almost condescending manner.
You had me worried for a moment. She's right there, Hedwig.
She pointed over her shoulder toward the stone railing.
What's up? Someone need me?
Here came Eustace alive and well.
Oh, Hedwig. Glad to see that you're well. That's everyone that I trust?
It would seem so.
I was worried about you, you incorrigible woman. But, Eustace,
Why aren't you wearing anything, Hedwig?
I didn't want to say anything. Why'd you have to go and ruin it, Eustace?
It's cold, for fuck's sake. I'm just concerned.
Is that my cloak?
I could have died right then and there. I looking for you, Eustace, and it fell into the stream. My clothes were soaked through and I had to walk back in just the cloak. I'm sorry, Superior. And I saw the smoke and forgot myself with worry.
Goodness, you've been in the wars. You sure you're feeling well?
Hey, why aren't you wearing anything?
You two should get to bed. But now...
All right. Keep your clothes on, lady.
Teenager sulked away, Violet scratching her head all the way. Angela shot me a look before turning away to interrogate somebody else about the fire. The reality of the situation was beginning to set in. I was all but naked, surrounded by my peers and betters. Bishop, who had been standing off to the side with the Superior, was covering his eyes in shame. I was soaked, my breath was short, my feet were sore, I was covered in ash, and worst of all, I felt an overwhelming sense of guilt. Horrible as it is to admit. And a small part of me that had hoped an act of God removed Eustace as an obstacle. But there she was, looking as stoic as ever. Hi. I was having a very, very bad day.
Hey! Hark! Academia! How you feeling about that? What was that splashing sound at the end there? Did you hear that?
Vomiting, maybe?
Oh, yeah,
She's pretty
probably
good at that.
vomiting. Yeah. Anyway, here you are. They only had cans, so I hope that's all right.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. I felt kind of strange all of a sudden. I remember blinking and flipping the pages of the book. Right, yeah, I was holding the book. I wasn't able to read much, though. Jet lag or something. Words stuck out to me as I skimmed, but none of them made sense.
Nosy. You can borrow it, though, if you'd like. Dunno if you have a telly in the room you're staying in.
Not sure, don't think so.
Well, there you are, then. Branch out a bit. Try a genre you're not familiar with.
I thought you needed this for work.
It's work, but I'm in no rush. I'm here to get a little more hands-on with a different project anyway.
I considered for a second, looking back down at the page I had opened to. None of the words made sense. They felt like they were shifting in front of me. It gave me a headache. I really was jet lagged, and I wasn't interested in the premise anyway. Nah. I slid the book back across the table. She smirked as she put it back in her bag. I didn't want to play games. I changed the subject. You mentioned location scouting on the plane. You making a movie out of this or something? She smiled and raised a finger to her lips. That's cool.
I can write this off as a business meal.
Do you ever stop working?
Ah!
She unfastened her handbag and retrieved her shiny pack of cigarettes, lighting one as she spoke.
Are you into compensation theory?
God, it's nice to hear someone say that instead of work-life balance.
I'm sure it is. You might not like my answer, though. I love working. My work is fun. I mean, I think structural functionalism is a fascinating field, and I suppose it's true that you want to give factory workers enough holidays that they don't strangle their wife and kids, but me, I always want to be working.
Ever strangled anyone?
Work's too fulfilling to even fantasize about that.
Wish I could find a job like that.
Well, where do you work?
Nowhere right now.
Well, that explains the uniform.
She waggled her cigarette at my baggy clothes. Jesus.
Aw, too far.
Do you like me or not?
If I didn't like you, I wouldn't tease you. Sorry, I thought we were developing a good rapport here. Sort of a buddy cop thing, if you will. Or I don't know, something that you wouldn't protest. Buddy, co-op grocery cashiers.
Her above-it-all shtick was really starting to piss me off, but what really annoyed me was that she was funny. I was used to being the mean one in conversations. All I could do was scoff. Is this all off the dome, or is this your open mic material?
Like I said, love, I am always working. So, American, unemployed, perhaps unemployable, left-wing in the sense that you really want people to know you're left-wing, punk aesthetics, but academic vocabulary when push comes to shove. I am going to guess your parents are wealthy. But not in academia. If that was the case, you'd probably read less, you'd never be able to keep up arguing with them, and you would like feeling smarter. So let's say liberal. Do they work in entertainment? Your natural distaste for me might stem from that. I remind you of them?
I don't have a distaste for you, but you're kind of weird and kind of mean, and I don't even know your name.
I buy you drinks, though. We do have a rapport here.
Yeah, thanks.
My name is Tatiana. Is that the first time we've heard her name?
Yeah? Really?
Really, really?
That's more Russian than I was expecting.
Well, now who's being mean? Maybe I'm a spy for the Reds. You would like that, I imagine.
Whatever. Anyway, you're wrong. Neither of my folks are in entertainment.
I'm very close, though, aren't I? Politics?
God damn it. Yeah. Can I have a cig?
Well, of course. We have a rapport, after all.
Thanks. Yeah,
Does anything. Don't worry, we have a rapport.
my dad's a mayor.
Sh-
She laughed really hard at that one.
The mayor's punk daughter. That's almost too good. I bet you're popular in the papers.
God.
Does he ever ask you to dress normal for reporters? Do you argue about Afghanistan and nuclear power over dinner?
He's the mayor. He has no say in any of that shit.
Answer the question.
Well, yeah, all the time. Like, he's the mayor now, but what if he becomes a senator or the president?
I am always right. What's his number one policy?
Huh?
What did he run on? What won his campaign?
Prison shit, carceral state fear-mongering bull.
So I was right. Liberal.
Sure, yeah.
Well, that paints an absolutely fascinating picture of you now, doesn't it? But why are you here? Why Linbarrow?
I was getting tired of the interrogation, but looking around the bar, sorry, pub, I realized my options for conversation elsewhere on this trip were slim. You're the location scout. You know about the weird shit that went down here?
She blew... right.
She blew a large cloud of smoke out of her nostrils.
I'm good. Well, pretend I don't.
Okay. Sure. There's this abbey at the top of the hill here. You know, from medieval nuns. It burned down a long time ago.
It burned down.
Nobody thought it was very important, you know, like it was sad, but it's not the Tower of London or whatever. It was just another abbey. But there's weird shit about it. Lots of conspiracies and stuff. Ghost stories?
I am familiar. Do go on.
There's a whole bunch. I don't know, some of it is silly. I'm not like much of a kooky theory type, you know? I just thought it was interesting, and I wanted to get away from home for a while.
Tell me the theories.
Some people think there was a coup or something being planned there, or that there was like a medieval terror cell there. Like they were gonna do something about the War of the Roses.
Yep.
I don't know, it sounds pretty stupid when I say it out loud.
Yep. Is that the first time they've explicitly mentioned War of the Roses?
Yep.
Nice.
Or at least... Is it?
I think
can't
they
recall.
mentioned some of the dramatis personae, but because now this is the future, we call it War of the Roses.
Yeah. Yes, you're correct. They had mentioned Yorks and Lancasters.
At the
and so
very,
forth.
very beginning, yeah. Is ZC doing the thing where ZC is talking about some of the theories that people reading the game have come up with?
I hope so.
I hope so. I hope so much. Nothing makes me happier than that stuff.
I had never felt less confidence in myself than I did explaining myself to this rich lady. I don't know, it had made sense to me up till now. Look, I had a big argument with my parents about my future. You know how it goes. I'm not into occult or supernatural shit really, but a TA in my English lit class put me onto this cool story about this weird abbey in England. It was a book called Misericorde. Are you okay? Are you okay?
You can't do that while I've got a mouthful.
Do you need a paper towel?
Yes, God. That was the most graceless spit take I've ever done in my life. Thank you. Oh. Ow, I can feel it in my sinuses. You have to wait until my mouth is empty. You can't just do that. Thank you, Vivian. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm sorry for not tracking the status of liquids in your mouth at all times.
That's on me for getting cocky. I was getting cocky and just taking sips whenever I felt like it. I was like, I don't have to narrate. I can just take a sip of my drink whenever I want. Little did I know. Anyway. Guess I'm leaving that all in. Anyway.
A lot of weird stuff happened there. Murders, suspicious fires, etc., etc. He's been trying to write a paper or something about it and was gonna come do research. I needed a place to go clear my head and get away from my family for a while, and I thought, hey, good excuse to get out of the country. I'll go check out this weird old haunted building with a friend of mine. God, what was I doing?
You and your friend are taking a gap year together, are you? I get it. Fairly normal for rich girls.
I'm not taking a gap year. And I'm not a rich girl.
I'm sorry, what was that?
A gap year.
A what?
Gap year. And then I chundered everywhere.
Who bought your plane ticket? Your parents? Nice of them to pay for your getaway. Why did you come alone, though? Couldn't get on the same flight as this friend of yours?
Look, it's supposed to be a surprise. She threw her head back and started cackling. Please, God, I thought, get me out of this fucking pub.
Oh, this is too good. This is really, really special. This friend isn't a friend, is that right? You're in love with him, aren't you? You don't care about the Abbey at all. You're trying to impress him.
I downed the rest of my can of cider. I don't want to talk about this.
But it's so cute. What is he like? Aloof and cool, I'm guessing. But deep down, you know that he really cares. Does he know you're into him?
I wasn't going to play along anymore. I started to scowl and focused on my cig.
Oh, you're upset.
Nah.
That's all right. You're still cranky from your flight. Time zones are a bitch, aren't they?
Someone else was being a bitch too, but I didn't want to start a fight.
She keeps giving you openings.
I made a show of glancing at the clock and stood up. Thanks for the cider. And the cig.
Sit back down for just one more moment. You'll want to hear this.
I doubt it.
As it happens, I've also been working on a book about the goings-on up at Linbarrow.
She was right. Unfortunately, I did want to hear that.
Having a chat is this song, okay.
I sighed and sat back down. So, what's it about?
The killings, of course. The mystery of it all.
Well, yeah. But what's the angle?
It would be a bit too difficult to explain all in one go. Would you like to borrow it?
Huh?
I have a copy in my bag. If you'd like to do a little light reading tonight.
She produced a rather thick paperback from her handbag. None left alive!
Beautiful!
Chronicles of a Killer Sister.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh! Oh! Whew. Okay. Okay. I'd ask you to hold my hand, but it still has like barf on it.
I hope not.
Spittle, whatever. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, okay. The Chronicles of a Serial Killer, huh?
No, that's not what that says.
Chronicles of a Killer Sister.
That's what that says.
That's what that says.
There was a photo, or maybe just an illustration, of a rich-looking woman on the cover.
Do we know who this is?
No.
I was to say, I can't quite place who that's meant to be. Is that Flora's portrait of Catherine with a C?
Who knows? None Left Alive, Chronicles of a Killer Sister, was embossed in big gold text above her smiling face. Oh, it's a novel? I was expecting a textbook.
Historical fiction is all the rage these days. Based on a true story, don't you know?
Sure enough, that was emblazoned on the cover where I would have expected the author's name to be. Well, how accurate is it? It looks kinda over the top.
Don't know. I haven't finished it yet. But it incorporates some interesting new evidence.
Whoa. Okay then. What kind of evidence?
You could read it and find out if you wanted, or I could show you tomorrow.
Huh?
You're going up to the Abbey, I presume? I'll meet you there. Even better than a book, I'd wager.
It was hard to argue, as weird as she was. Okay. I pushed the novel back across the table. I want to see the real thing. She slid the novel back toward me.
Keep it. I doubt you'll spoil it for yourself all in one night. It's rather long, after all.
I could skip to the end.
I suppose you could. Will you?
Dunno. She smiled.
My guess is no. I'll pick you up bright and early tomorrow, yeah?
What?
To see the Abbey.
I already have plans.
No, you don't.
She said this with a wide smile.
And as luck would have it, my work is taking me there too. That guy
Jim is going to drive me up, I think.
Of course he is. Well, in that case, I'll meet you up there. How's that sound?
Whatever. She let go of my wrist, and I left the pub to head back to Jim and Mary's.
It did the thing. It did the thing.
The door was unlocked when I got back, but all the lights were off. They must have been asleep already. Made sense, they were old. I kicked off my shoes and felt my way to the stairs in the dark. I swung my leg onto the bed and flopped into it. The mattress was squeaky as shit, and I felt bad. I didn't want to wake Jim and his wife up. I stared at the ceiling for a few minutes. I was tired for sure, but I couldn't sleep just yet. I turned the bedside lamp on to check out the book that lady had insisted I borrow.
It's also really funny because I remember that one That one shitpost ZC did about
None Left
having a
Alive.
Misericorde, the 3D
Yeah.
shooter, None Left Alive.
Yeah. I opened the book to the first page. No publishing info or anything like that. That made sense, I guess. It was an advance copy.
I don't know, even advanced copy tend to have like some preamble telling you, like ARCs and advanced copies will generally tell you what the publishing house is, when the date to expect it is. I'm guessing this is just a proof, if anything. Because like actual advanced copies would that means that it's done and ready to be read by people, but not published and ready for mass consumption yet. Little bookstore knowledge to just drop that on you.
There was something there, though. Don't. Bit creepy.
Opens book, don't. Alright, thanks for coming, everyone.
I shook it off, though. I figured it was just a fragment of a note she'd typed for herself. Don't forget to do something editory, you know, some shit like that. I was just on edge. Then I turned to the table of contents. Don't. Every chapter was titled Don't. This was pretty weird.
Oh, fuck, hold on, sorry. This is starting to scratch itches I didn't know I had. Yes, tell me about the weird book that says nothing but don't in it.
Hadn't she said this was based on the true story? I was freaked the fuck out, but I couldn't resist turning the page again. Empty. I skimmed through the whole thing. There wasn't a single word printed in the whole book other than don't. It was so weird that I couldn't get all the way through it. I snapped the book shut and set it on the bedside table. I was too tired for this shit.
Yes. Put this shit right into my veins.
I closed my eyes and zonked out. When I woke up, the first thing I did was check that novel again. Still blank. Fucking weird. Had I imagined all of that don't stuff? I rolled out of bed and put my clothes from the previous night back on. I'd only worn them for a few hours. Plus, looking at my suitcase made me realize that I had probably packed a little light. I could hear voices downstairs. After glancing at the empty book one last time, I walked down into the kitchen. Jim and Mary were seated for breakfast, chatting pleasantly.
Well, here she is. Toast.
Yeah, actually. Thanks. He smiled and picked a piece of crispy white bread off of a large pile on the kitchen table.
Butter.
Absolutely.
Marmalade.
You know what? Sure. I never had marmalade before.
No marmalade?
Yeah. Not really a thing stateside.
You hear that, Mary? Cancel our holiday.
Mary chuckled as she scraped a generous helping of orange goop onto my toast.
We do have marmalade now. You can get marmalade if you want it. As if we'll ever have an overseas holiday.
I want marmalade now.
Do you really?
Yes?
Would you finish a whole jar of it?
I'm really bad at finishing jars of jam, so probably not, but I would
Okay.
still love some marmalade.
Yeah, I
They
get
should
you.
sell jam in smaller portions so that I finish it.
You want jam, but only in the size that come at really cheap diners. The little plastic packets that you... with the foil top. You know the ones I'm talking about.
I do. She handed me the plate and I bit into the toast hungrily. Wow, that is good.
No marmalade. Might as well not have a country.
We can definitely agree.
Was that now?
I swallowed my food. On that, we can definitely agree.
Oh,
You don't like America now, do you?
of course she doesn't, Mary. She's a punk, ain't that right?
Yeah?
Probably doesn't like the Queen either.
Talked about that in the car, funnily enough.
Mary looked upset.
Oh, James, you said she wasn't one of your little schemers.
I don't know what you're talking about, love. Just a traveler who happens to have a loud taste in music and politics, ain't that right?
Never met this guy before, I promise.
Oh, dearie me. Only you could make me want to believe that you just happened to pick up a teenager in your car.
Don't make me sound like some kind of prevert. Lord above, woman.
I'm only saying you probably looked quite strange inviting her into your car.
It was her friend that suggested it. I have an airtight character witness. Besides, I have another alibi.
Oh?
Short hair does nothing for me. I'm not worried about these two relationships. They seem to have a good one. They're going to be fine.
Mary slapped her husband on the shoulder playfully, and he laughed dryly.
All those people worried about Mary and her husband, don't worry.
Watch it now.
So then, Alex, you want to lift up to the Abbey, yeah?
If you wouldn't mind, yeah.
Mary
gave me an oddly serious look.
I'm sorry I keep jumping in thinking I need to do the narration.
I'm here to explore the ruins.
Fascinating bit of history, that Abbey.
Macabre, more like. You should be careful up there. Lots of shady types go at night and get up to no good.
It's just kids, Mary. It's a good spot to have a bit of fun away from prying eyes. You were young once, hard as it is to believe.
Another playful slap on the shoulder.
How long you planning to stay up there?
Not sure, a while probably. I want to take some pictures.
Alright then. I'll drop you there after breakfast and I'll come collect you around tea time. I gotta run some errands today and I'd rather like do some gardening, so I can't stay with you.
Works for me. I finished my toast, then ran back upstairs to grab my jacket and my camera. When I headed back downstairs, Jim was already waiting by the door.
You, ready?
Yep.
Bye, Mary.
Bye-bye.
It was so beautiful outside that I had to stop for a second to admire the view and take in the crisp morning air.
Don't get much better than that now, does it?
I can't believe people live here. Feels like something out of a kid's book.
You get used to it, but not that used to it. Still blows me away sometimes, too. Go on, get in. Top of the mountain will be even more impressive.
I hopped into the front seat of Jim's car once again.
Right then, off we go.
Driving through the narrow streets of the village was kinda scary. City driving was bad enough in the States, but none of the roads here were straight, and all of them were crazy fucking narrow. Eventually we made it out of the town. We drove past a large farm at the base of the hill, and the road began to get steeper. The hill was like a big wall of green. It was breathtaking, but the drive didn't get any more relaxing. The road was only wide enough for one car, which led to several sudden swerves to allow other drivers to buzz past us. Jesus! How the hell do you decide whether to get out of the way or keep going?
I don't know. Instinct mostly. Want me to slow down?
Nah, I guess you got it under control. Just takes some getting used to.
Don't faze me at all. I barely notice. Driving Jeeps was a lot more dangerous, I can tell you that.
I imagine throwing a grenade into one of the passing cars. After 20, maybe 30 minutes, the road turned into gravel. Things got really bumpy for a little while. Then finally I saw stone ruins up ahead.
Here we are. Linbarrow Abbey, or, what left of it.
There were a few cars parked in the gravel lot. I could see a really weathered plaque near the ruins, too. Jim stops the car and drums on the steering wheel.
Right then, I'll pick you up back here a little after dark, eh?
Sounds perfect. Thanks a lot, man.
Not at all, not at all. Oh, look, your friend's here.
God fucking damn it. I had been kind of hoping she wouldn't show up. She was walking straight towards us with a huge grin on her face. A black turtleneck and khaki riding pants made her look kind of like a stormtrooper. I wondered if Jim would say anything, but he was perfectly polite. I stepped out of the car, unable to escape.
Hello!
Hi?
Fancy meeting you here. What are the odds?
Oh, quite good this time. We chatted about meeting up here in the pub last night.
Well, you two have a nice day now, eh? I gotta run, things to do.
Of course! Don't let us keep you.
Yeah, thanks again. Jim gave a salute as I closed the car door, and the car rumbled away over the gravel.
Brought a camera, did you? That's fantastic! I could do with some new shots. I need an author photo.
You're an author now?
Sometimes.
For real, or is this like a ghostwriter thing?
I do have several collaborators. Do you know anything about a 15th century metallurgy?
Huh? No, why would I?
I don't know. People take all sorts of useless classes at university. Never mind. Shall I give you the grand tour? Do we need to know about 15th century metallurgy? Do we need to know about 15th century metallurgy?
I mean, that depends. We learned there was some metallurgy happening in the beginning of this of episode 2,
There
right?
certainly was.
So,
Yep.
I couldn't believe I was stuck with her. I'd flown so far to see this. She was oblivious to how annoyed I was, though. She swung around on her heel and marched right toward the plaque in front of what looked like a ruined archway.
Welcome to Linbarrow Abbey. I'm something of an expert, if you could believe it. You already know about what the plaques say, I'm sure. But it built in the 1300s, served the community until it tragically burned down in 1484.
1484? That is the upcoming year.
That's the year after Hedwig is talking. Hedwig is chatting in 1483, telling about the story in 1482.
Wait, Hedwig's chatting in 1483?
Or no. I have that backwards.
I thought 1483 was the date of the events of the game.
Right, okay, so then it burns down... Oh, so then it burns down the year that she's telling the story in, then. Presumably before, but...
Yeah, it burns down at some point after this winter that we are experiencing now.
Yep.
Potentially soon.
Good golly.
Some say it's haunted. They still age award-winning wine here, graciously open to the public. Blah, blah, blah. Bit of a silly thing to put on a plaque like this, but I suppose that's tourism for you.
Well, yeah. I know all of that, obviously. The blah 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 is why I'm here, though. She kissed her teeth.
Mwah! You are interested in the haunting bit, too, though.
Duh. That's not all, though. I mean, I am interested in the ghost for real reasons, not just like because I think ghosts are cool. I don't think that, really.
So it's a special ghost, and you're definitely interested in it for reasons beyond trying to impress a boy.
Oh my god, you're not gonna let that go.
It is important. I just need to be sure
Sure about what?
that I can trust you with something interesting.
Okay, fuck it, sure. I'm related to one of the sisters.
Are you now?
Hmm.
It was built in the 1300s. Narrow it down for me.
This would be going way back, obviously, but this teacher's aide I'm meeting here who got me interested in this stuff. He helped me dig through my family tree,
Uh-huh.
and it turns out I'm a way distant relative of one of the later period nuns.
I am on the edge of my seat.
Do you know anything about a Sister Catherine? The corners of her mouth twitched and stretched into a creepy
You can't
smile.
see the expression on my face right now, but you have to imagine it. Oh, this episode has been nothing but just feeding the SK Core allegations. I love it.
Of course. What Linbarrow scholar doesn't? She was quite a character. You think you're related to her?
I don't know, maybe. My friend's piecing together some family tree stuff about some of the nuns here.
She died, though, quite tragically if the stories are to be believed.
Maybe she didn't. That's the theory my friend's been working on anyway.
So you reckon your sister Catherine's great, with a C, great, so, I can never work out generations in my head. Huh, come with me.
No, things are clicking in my head. Oh
Hit me,
no,
hit me,
oh
hit me,
no,
hit me,
oh
hit me.
no.
Share.
Catherine... Did Sister Catherine not, in fact, die? Is everyone in on that? In some way?
Well, okay, let's play this out, okay? If Sister Catherine isn't dead, then, at a minimum, every single sister who has interacted with her has to be, either knowingly or unknowingly, has to be faking their reaction to the body, right? And faking their grief over her, and allowing this all to happen, including Eustace, who I don't see any reason why she would fake it.
I mean...
And then there leaves the option. So then not only that, we now have to answer, whose body is it? Right? And then we have to answer, where has she been? So that's not impossible, but that's a whole lot of dominoes you now have to account for.
So why everyone would fake it is to cover up her political plot.
Okay.
And that's where she is. And that's why she's the one who's out there getting James out of the cell to do things.
Okay. I'm with you so far. In that case, who's the body?
I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't got anything for that. But I'm not.
So that would mean that-
the medieval terror cell thing, or plot against the king thing,
Yep.
and the Catherine not dead thing, and the Eustace being like, I really can't tell you what's going on. I know, and it's important that you never know and get your nose out of it immediately. And if you don't, I might have to leave because the piece of this abbey is falling apart. Ha! That's funny. Ha!
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that now the biggest questions are... So then that would mean people like the Superior and Angela aren't in it. And that would mean that they're actively trying to uncover this medieval terrorist cell, as you put it. That would match with, we think, one of the nuns there might be the handsome gentleman, right?
Catherine.
Could have been that Catherine was, and Catherine is still there.
My ablative Catherine theory is getting so good.
What happened to the body after...
I don't know if we've been told. It was carried to the chapel at one point, I think.
Did Hedwig ever get to see the body?
Not that I know of.
And her head was placed in her hands, right?
Yep.
And even the Superior got to see it at that point. So then, either someone's lying about where her head is at, and it's someone else's body that's completely unrelated, or that is her head. I'm not poo-pooing Catherine is alive theory. I'm just trying to set up like, okay, if that's true, we got to jump through these hoops.
So I was thinking everyone in on it. So this just
Literally
didn't
everyone.
happen the way that Hedwig is told.
Okay, so
But
that
then
means
that makes some other things weirder. Like, why would then the bishop be here at all? Why would they have a scapegoat, and why would the Superior want an investigation? I guess you could want an investigation of a thing to make it seem like you're not covering it up, and you could deliberately put an incompetent in charge who couldn't possibly do well, like someone who's been locked up in a room their entire life. But then what of Angela? That doesn't track with Angela at all.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing
this
is
isn't
that
a
it
very
seems-
good theory, but it's a good theory.
So I think in order for this to work, I still think like the Superior and Angela's investigation has to be at least legitimate on their end. Right? Because if it's not, then why would you invite... Unless they are banking so hard on Hetty being able to accomplish absolutely nothing.
Which would be a great thing to bank on, seeing as it's about accurate.
I suppose, but... I don't know. Eustace seemed to think that she was putting her nose where it didn't belong and was getting dangerously close to discovering things. So, I think it would have to be a smaller subset of the nun. Like, remember how Catherine talked about getting led into her her circle towards the end?
Mm-hmm.
Her inner circle? It sounds like surrounding Catherine at the very end, there was a small group of nuns that were around her at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, if you're right, then that means that cadre of nuns, whoever they may be, are the ones that are responsible and are trying to keep this as it is. Which could work. That could absolutely work. And it would explain who's been running off chatting with the... chatting around, but I think faking the body is the hardest part to get around.
Yeah.
Especially with her head. And I think the only way you could get around that was that people were lying about what they saw, and before anyone who was not a part of the conspiracy got in on it, her head was somehow removed from the picture. Like, it was no longer there with her body. Because I don't know how you convincingly fake someone's head in that era.
Yep. I don't know how you convincingly fake someone's head.
I mean,
Full stop.
I think nowadays you could like convincingly create a facsimile of someone's head that would pass inspection at like a quick glance. Right? I mean, like, we rely on movie makeup directors to do shit like that all the time. I don't know that anything would survive anything other than a legitimate head of someone who looks exactly like her would survive any closer inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Does Catherine have a twin? Is there a second Catherine?
2 Catherines, maybe more.
I mean, I'm just asking, right? And the thing is, she can't slip into the persona of anyone who's already there because unless every single nun is literally in on it, including Angela and the superior, then they would immediately notice, hey, you're not that person, you're Catherine. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I don't know. Thoughts?
She passed under the ruins of the archway, beckoning me to follow. There wasn't much left of the place. The gravel path took us past square plots of stone. I assumed these were whatever was left of the building's foundation. A few chunks of wall covered in moss were still standing. Some pillars still stood, and most impressively, a few intact building facades. A couple of tourists stood on the cloister lawn, snapping photos.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, not much left, though.
500 years is a very long time, even for buildings that didn't catch fire.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask about that. Wasn't it made of stone? How did it burn down? She let out a condescending laugh.
Stone buildings can still burn down, love. There's plenty of wooden framing and mortar can catch fire. At that point, being made of stone is a bit of a liability. There's nothing holding it together after all. Squish!
Yeesh. I took a few more photos of the ruins.
Looking for anything in particular while you're here?
Well, yeah. That friend.
Friend. Right you are.
She winked.
Wink. Now, what's this friend like? Serious, moody? Deep down you know he cares?
Knock it off.
Have it your way. But let's pretend he got waylaid. What did you come here to see besides him?
Well, you said you could show me something crazy at the pub.
What's your friend's theory? How invested is he in all of this? Did you come here just so you could hear all about it?
Knock it off.
Maybe he wanted to show you the same thing I am going to. Are you afraid I'm going to spoil things? I love spoiling endings. Did you know they build another big space ball in the next Star Wars?
Do I look like a nerd to you?
You were thinking about stormtroopers.
Anyway, that can't... The other stormtroopers, right?
Right, the other stormtroopers. It's so weird that supplanted that in my mind. I totally...
She very much wasn't dressed in white and black plastic like a Star Wars stormtrooper.
I'm such an idiot. Okay, no, I earned that one. Let me have it. I earned it.
Anyway, that came out months ago.
What is your favorite movie of the year so far?
I don't know. I liked Streamers. Saw that a couple weeks ago.
Of course you liked Streamers. You are a nerd, just not the sci-fi kind.
What the fuck is Streamers?
I don't know.
Hey, would you do me a favor and fuck off if you're going to be an asshole? Her smile never, ever wavered.
Oh, but if I did that, I couldn't show you my super secret special evidence.
Streamers. It is indeed a movie from 1983, an American war drama. What is it about?
Oh, so she's a war nerd. That makes sense. Given she's comparing things to stormtroopers, and she was also really invested in the photo on Jim's wall, right? Yeah, she's a war nerd. Okay, yeah, that checks out.
It'd be odd for a punk.
Is it odd for a punk to still be interested in the history and aesthetics of war, even if one is not, like, we have plenty, like, you yourself play games that do nothing but emulate the history of warfare.
Yeah, and they're not punk.
Staunchly anti-war, last I checked. One can do both.
Anyway, the movie is about 4 soldiers waiting to get shipped off to Vietnam, but dealing with racial tension and intolerance, and one of them turns out gay.
Neat.
So that's what that is. That sounds like an interesting movie.
It does, actually.
I rolled my eyes. Fine, show me what you want to show me. She grinned and began walking again.
I don't think she walks. I think she traipses.
I followed her, determined to get a whole story out of her.
You're into politics. How much do you think that played into what happened here?
Well, it burned down at the end of the War of the Roses, so...
So you didn't skip ahead in that book. I was right.
So it wasn't political.
I didn't say that.
That book was empty, by the way. You gave me a blank on accident.
Really? That shouldn't be the case. Are you quite sure?
Positive?
Did it say anything at all?
I couldn't trust her. Nope, just blank.
Well, misprints aren't unheard of. Anyway, the war was absolutely one factor. Are you familiar with Richard III?
Kinda?
Well, that's a huge spoiler for you, by the way. He stayed here at one point. In fact, he was staying here when it all came crashing down. Isn't that the bishop?
What?
Bishop Richard?
Presumably not the same person. I don't recall if we got the bishop's name.
I thought the bishop's name was Richard. Huh. Well, what do
Interesting if it is actually a king and not the bishop.
You think it's the king? Yeah, I guess that would be a little
Wait,
bit.
can we go back and read the sentence that was said about
Yep.
King Richard III? He stayed here. In fact, he was staying here when it all came crashing down. He stayed here. He was staying here. Richard III is the bishop, who is not a bishop.
But is here hiding away
Is here hiding away. Mabel knows about this.
and that's why he stays in her room all day and doesn't go anywhere.
What the fuck?
Is that? This is not when the abbey burns down yet. That's
True,
still-
it would imply that he stays here for quite some time, if so.
after he was said to have left.
So if we see
And
him
also,
stick around...
he recognized some of the other nuns from having done their, by name. He is a known quantity. That can't be the king.
Unless... What if the whole abbey's fake?
Unless they're all in on it too?
No, they
How
don't need
many-
to be. They don't need to be.
How many layers of... Okay.
How would the common nuns know? If the
Because
guy...
he greeted them all by name and talked about having performed those rites for them.
Yeah, what if he did?
Okay,
What if the abbey is a fake? The king just sets up a convenient abbey in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, yeah, this is an abbey. You guys run it. I'm going to stick around and pretend to be a bishop. You'd only need the people in charge to know about that. It just works. No flaws in this theory.
No flaws whatsoever. None.
But it could be very possible that someone would come by and do rites and recognize the nuns and so on, and indeed not be a bishop at all, but be the king cosplaying. And
Who's the prince at this time?
What?
Who's the prince at this time if there is one?
That's a good question.
Because someone was certainly talking about a prince, weren't they?
Yeah, we need to look up a thing or two about Ring Kitchard the Thrid.
Please don't do that. My head hurts every time you do that. Spoonerisms are a crime committed against my brain's ability to function properly.
Oh, here we go. Issue. Sorry, I forgot to look up the kingly words. Issue. His issue.
His issue. Why would you call your child issue? Like you issued forth from my ball sack.
Exactly.
God damn.
Yep, just the one son, Edward of Middleham,
Okay.
who was created Earl of Salisbury in 1478 and Prince of Wales in 1483, was declared heir apparent in early 1484, and then died 2 months later.
Okay. Poor Eddie. Okay.
He had 2 acknowledged illegitimate children, John of Gloucester and Catherine Plantagenet.
I'm sorry, what?
Catherine Plantagenet.
I'm sorry, what?
What do you mean?
Catherine? Starting with a C or a K?
With a K.
Really? Catherine with a K, huh? Fucking wild if true.
My conspiracy brain is ticking into overdrive.
I love this. This is so great.
So what? I mean, I read that theory once, I think. It's out there, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, the Richard theory?
I thought you said you knew some really mind-blowing new stuff. We had come to a stop at a staircase.
That looks almost exactly like the other staircase from that other game.
What?
The angle and everything is just the same. Sorry. If you know it, you know it.
I don't know it, but I have a feeling I should know it based on what
I'll
you're
show
saying.
it to you later.
Okay. She kept checking her watch.
Be a dear and make sure nobody sees us slip down here now, will you?
Wait, hold on. But she was already halfway down the stairs.
Down to where the casks are?
God fucking damn it. She was taking us into some kind of wine cellar. I could hear her calling to me from up ahead.
You want your mind blown, dear?
I want you to put up or shut up.
Open this for me, would you?
Open what? She jerked her head toward one of the wine barrels. Do you think I'm fucking stupid? I don't want to get covered in wine.
Suit yourself.
She fumbled with the front of the barrel for a moment. I braced myself. I know this sounds insane, but it wasn't a prank. The lid opened like a door.
Who are you telling this to? I know we've talked about this last time we had an Alex scene, but who is she telling this to?
I don't know. Inside was something that looked like a rolled up piece of paper. Whoa! Put that back, are you crazy?
Thought you were a punk.
She unrolled the paper and grinned. I looked over my shoulder just in case a security guard was coming around the corner.
Because they do still use this to age wine.
When you said new evidence, I didn't realize you meant you were stealing shit.
Stealing? I'm not stealing. Nobody knew it was here. I am finding.
Whatever.
Would you like to see it?
She turned the thing around before I finished answering.
Now, isn't this interesting?
Is that Flora's portrait of Catherine? I think it is. And it's also the one that's on the cover of None Left Alive.
Whoa. It was the painting from the cover of None Left Alive.
Whoa, indeed.
She kept holding it out to me. She looked expectant, but I wasn't really sure what else I could say other than whoa or cool.
Well,
I mean, yeah, it's cool, but it's a ruined painting someone lost, I guess.
all right. Christ, if I knew you'd be this hard to impress, I might have not brought you.
Well, sorry. Art history isn't my thing.
Good thing there's plenty more then. Follow me.
She stuck her head back in the barrel and started crawling into it.
Come on then.
No way. You are crazy.
Am I? Or am I the only sane one here?
Her voice had suddenly got all echoey. Confused, I stuck my head into the barrel and saw her smiling at the end of a small tunnel.
Interesting thing number 2. There's more in here. Come on, get a move on.
Hell no.
Do you think Heritage Site security guards work for MI6 or something? We're doing a little exploration. That is all. If we get caught, we can just say sorry.
I sighed and took my leg off before squeezing into the little tunnel, closing the door behind me just in case. I crawled through into the little room Tatiana was now pacing around the edges of, looking for something. I sat on the lip of the tunnel and put my leg back on while she yapped.
Should be around here somewhere.
I stood up and took it all in. We were in some kind of underground chamber. It was dirty and dusty, but surprisingly dry.
It's an old pantry, you see. Held up quite well, considering.
And nobody's found it until now? They've just never opened that particular cask.
Well, those are all decorative now, part of the exhibit. I'm sure people have found it, they just don't have a use for it.
So why are we here?
Because of...
Can't find what you're looking for?
Give me a minute.
I started pacing around. Maybe I could find the cool thing before she did, get one over on her. It became obvious that people had indeed found this room before. There were broken beer bottles, condom wrappers, and old fast food containers all over the floor.
Not the most romantic hookup spot now, is it?
She had climbed up one of the rotting wooden shelves. Careful.
I can't die.
The wood under her boot gave way, but she managed to land on her feet. She was clutching a long bundle of rags to her chest. Waving me over, she held it out to me.
Open it.
Ugh, no thanks. How long has that been there?
Oh, about 500 years.
She smirked. Why are you showing me all this stuff?
You want to impress your friend. How chuffed will he be when he shows up and you have incredible new evidence for his research? He might propose on the spot.
Ew.
Oh, stop being so countercultural for 1 second and see what I have got for you.
I rolled my eyes and reached for the crusty old fabric. Tatiana's permanent grin stretched even wider as I revealed what was wrapped up in the old cloth. A rusty sword. Whoa.
Whoa is right. The sword that killed your sister Catherine with a C, or so they say. As well as the Mother Superior, the Infirmera, and who knows else.
Whoa!
Okay, so this is the first time we've gotten names of who else dies, right?
So allegedly,
Soup.
Supermom and Moira
And
are gonna
Moira.
die. Huh. Wait, for real?
Oops. Spoilers.
Whatever.
I mean, the title of your book is None Left Alive. I thought maybe that meant none were left alive.
The sword was rusty as shit and it looked really brittle. Looking at it closely, though, I could see a faint engraving. Urim. Huh.
Oh, well done. Are you practicing?
Nah. I don't go to temple anymore.
Well, what's your best guess on the meaning?
I mean, it's Urim, so is there a Thummim as well?
Goodness gracious, give her one sword and she already wants another.
You asked.
I am teasing, love. You were spot on, I think. Urim and Thummim are a pair. Guilty and innocent, innit?
Kinda. Sure. It was more complicated than that, but whatever. So, this is new? Like, nobody else researching Linbarrow stuff knows about it? What about the painting?
Mysterious, isn't it? Who could it be?
I'm going to take a wild guess from your tone and say Catherine.
You really didn't read much of that book I gave you now, did you?
I forget, do you already know what the Urim and Thummim are?
Guilty and innocent?
No, they're specific objects.
Oh, I didn't.
It's from...
Maybe we talked about this back in episode 1, but refresh me.
It's two elements of the breastplate worn by the high priest of Israel in the Old Testament. So they have been translated various ways. Lights and perfections, revelation and truth, doctrine and truth. Some folks cursed and faultless or innocent or guilty. But they were... Are they stones? I'm trying to remember what the objects physically were. There's no description of exactly what they were, other than that they were put into the high priest's breastplate.
And where are you reading this from so the folks at home can...
This is just refreshing my memory from Wikipedia.
Okay, cool. If you haven't noticed, I've been citing our sources for all of these little digressions in the bottom of the screen whenever we talk about them. Most of the time it's just Wikipedia, but hey, I figure if we're going to make historical claims, we should at least be, leave some trail. You shouldn't be taking anything you learn from us as gospel truth anyway, but
Anyway, so it was some part of the vestment. I think that it is believed by many people that they were either stones or words written on it, and that they may have been used in some way to judge the innocent and guilty by the high priest.
But either way, the existence of one beggars the existence of another.
Yeah, it's very much like it'd be weird to hear the one and not hear of the other.
Right. So unless someone is intentionally trying to imply the existence of something that isn't there, then it would be like, it's like letting the pigs loose in the school and painting them 1, 3, and 4.
Yep.
Right? Unless it's intentionally leaving... Either way, the implication is clear. Oh, that is right. Well, maybe it's her. Come on, though. You've got to admit, I'm doing pretty good here.
I remember the cover of the pre-release book she'd shown me. Wait, isn't that on the cover of that novel? How come it's here?
Yeah, right? That's what I was... Right you are. Oh, how I loathe the tyranny of continuity. Any suggestions for how it could have gotten here?
None? Look, what's your game? Like, do you want something in return?
Not in the slightest. Your being here is enough for me. I just like showing off, and this is a great opportunity.
What do you mean continuity error? I thought the fact that the portrait was... See, I thought she was about to explain how, like, this is the original of it, and like, all we've seen are replications, and I wasn't going to think about the fact that it was on the cover. But now she's being weirdly evasive about it, and now I am back to thinking about why it's on the cover. What the fuck?
Okay, weird. So what's next?
Next, we wait for your friend to show up, greedy guts. Then you show him everything you found. He swoons. We share a nod from across the abbey.
Fuck off.
Come on, it'll be fun.
Yeah, well, I don't know how long he's gonna be. We might be waiting a while.
Not to worry. I know a great way to pass the time.
Yeah?
Smacks Alex over the head with a brick.
Convenient.
She held her hand out and snapped her fingers. So that was cool.
Oh my goodness gracious. I am so sorry you had to hear me make so many indecent noises this episode, but this is truly the moment I have been waiting for. What do you think? We call it a sode?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for joining us on yet another episode of this wonderful series. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Peace.
Yeah, later, Gator.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.